I wanted to do I wanted to do an overview of what mods and stuff I have done on the bike, as a few people had asked. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull over up here just to kind of show, get a quick breakdown for those who may be interested. Slide off right here. Oh, I just pinched a nut. Oh, that hurt so bad. Okay. Here's as good a place as any, I think, to kind of go over some stuff. Okay, so first things first, I guess. What is first? I don't even know. We'll go ahead and do chain and sprocket. So my bike, if I could find a picture, I'll put it up. My bike came with a 532 size chain, which is the width of the actual chain itself. This is a different chain that I put on. It's a 520 chain. It's a little bit thinner, so it's lighter weight. So the bike picks up speed a little bit faster. It's a little more responsive. Additionally, I have a front sprocket on the front that is 1 tooth smaller than originally came on the bike. And the sprocket on the rear is 4 teeth larger than originally came. So for this particular bike, that happens to be 15 teeth in the front and 52 in the rear. That's why the rear looks so big. So that covers the drivetrain, I guess. So next thing, I guess we can go ahead and talk protection for the bike. So these are Woodcraft frame sliders. They are cut, so I did have to cut through my fairings. If I had a nice bike with nice fairings, I would have been a little more apprehensive about doing that. So there's one on either side. You can kind of see it here. Those are made by Woodcraft. They make all sorts of other stuff too. Additionally, I have for bar ends, they're weighted Woodcraft bar end sliders. Okay, but so there's weights in the bar ends, and what that lets you do, or what that does for you, I guess, is it kind of reduces the vibrations that you get at speed in the handlebars, which is a comfort factor. Also, these are replaceable sliders on the end, and so if I go down, which you can see I have, those take some of the force and kind of erode away as the bike slides. I also have on the rear of the bike 2 axle, well, what are they called? They're called swing arm spools, and so what they do is they let you lift the bike up on a rear stand, but I got oversized ones that are made of like a sliding material, and so as you can see there, I've also worn that down a bit. So I get good use out of a lot of these parts I put on here, which is always good. Last bit for protection that I think I have on here. I used to have a sub cage, which is used. You'll see that more on stunt bikes. I don't have that anymore. I sold it. It's pretty heavy, and I got into track days, so that's why it's gone. So the last bit of protection actually on this bike is this clutch slider there. I've never actually used that, like in terms of a fall, but it's there to protect some stuff here, which, I mean, for like 50-60 bucks, I just like the peace of mind it being there, so I'm content with that. This is not a stock exhaust. It's a Yoshimura. It was a Yoshimura stainless steel exhaust. Maybe it was titanium, I'm not sure. It originally went to about right there. It was a high mount. About 10 to 12 months into owning this bike, it was too quiet for me, so I cut it in half, and I tried to paint it black. Cutting it in half wasn't too bad an idea. I could have not cut it quite down as far to keep it a little more quiet, but what's done is done. I should not have painted it. That was a bad idea. Just didn't stick. I even used exhaust paint too, so you'd think it would work, but it didn't. So what's done is done. I do have an air filter installed. It's a BMC race air filter. I'll put a link up, one of those little cards, if you want to see the install. I did a video actually testing performance between the stock and that filter, which was pretty fun to make. I do have a Power Commander 3 installed with a tune I got off of Power Commander's website. There is a system on these bikes that will inject air from the intake into the exhaust. I think it's called the Ais System or Eis System. I'll also put a picture up of that so you can see what that is. It's basically for emissions, so your bike runs cleaner. Well, It appears to run cleaner because the fumes out of here, they're less toxic, I guess. I don't remember quite exactly how it works, but I got rid of that because that was unnecessary. So up front, this little thing with the red dial, that's a steering damper. What that does, actually I'll also link to Motorcyclist Magazine's video. Ari Henning did a video explaining it. I just watched it today, actually, did a great job, so I won't go into depth on that. It saved my ass several times. You can see I've almost killed myself without having one at that video right there. Hopefully my finger's in the right spot. And this lever up here, this is a single finger RSC clutch lever. Most owners use it as a lifetime warranty on it. You can see I've already damaged mine in a high side crash. And the thing works, it's tough, it looks good. I'm very pleased with that. And then what you'll see below this, some people get confused because they see two levers here, and it's kind of confusing. Like most bikes you've seen only have one lever there. This is actually a handbrake for my rear wheel. So if we follow this, so it's it's just like a front brake lever with a master cylinder, but it's on the left side and it's mounted below my clutch. This blue stainless brake line runs through the frame, out the back into a junction valve for that runs to the rear brake, and that's for wheelies or just stunts in general. It gives me more control. It was easier for me to learn to use the rear brake to bring it down when I could use my hand. And it makes wheelies safer for me. I wasn't at first as confident with my foot, but now I'm kind of getting even with both. But that's basically what that's about. I have Tech Spec tank grips. These are the snakeskin ones, I think. I bought those a while ago, and they really do make a difference. I can grip the bike very well through corners. It puts less stress on my hands and my wrists because I'm not actually having to support myself as much with my upper body. I have my thighs have a sturdier position to grab as well, which is nice. So you can see cosmetically, I obviously don't have stock fairings. I need to repaint these. It's actually chippy, and I ran out of clear coat when I did it initially. But these are Hot Bodies race fairings. It's a single upper and a single lower piece. The tail is still the stock piece. I actually got someone rear-ended me, so I'm in the process of getting this replaced. But so I don't have headlights. I do have a headlight, but it's not the stock one. I have a little switch wired here, and that runs to this 600 lumen LED, and that's extremely bright. The hardest part about this was just aiming it in the correct location because I don't want to blind every other driver on the road. I have this fairing stay here, so this metal piece you see here that kind of holds up the windscreen and the speedometer cluster. That's actually not factory. I got this one. It's a GP Tech one. It's made of aluminum. It's not cast aluminum like the stock one is. And the reason I went with that is because this being my first bike and having it as long as I've had it, I have been down quite a few times, mostly due to my stupidity. 1 or 2 times maybe were actually accidents that weren't my fault. We can just assume they were all my fault though. The cast aluminum stock fairing stay breaks extremely easily. So this here, I can just bend it if it ever gets hit. It won't actually break. It's not brittle. It's more prone to bending, which is something I like a lot. I don't want it to break because it's annoying to have to replace it. And I think that's about it for this bike. I guess it's also GP shift. So my shifting pattern is different. To shift from first to second, I push the lever down. I do not pull it up. I find that easier for me in the corners. When you're leaned over really far on the left and you need to shift, it's also a more natural body movement to push than to pull your whole leg up. I really think that's it. One mod to consider is tires. Man, I love having really sticky tires. I high-sided one time because my tires weren't warm enough. They weren't good enough tires, and these Q3s definitely do perform and do that for me. So I'm very thankful to have those on this bike. Yeah, so this bike has been great. I love it. I do want 1000cc though, just because this bike doesn't excite me like it used to. I got it with 18,900 some miles. It had a good amount of miles on it when I got it. Now it has 47,380. So this bike is It's getting up there in terms of age. It's the most miles I've ever had a vehicle without destroying it or it breaking. And yeah, it's been a blast. So we're gonna get going and get back to our ride.